Rebecca, over 60, with babyboomster.com, and today I want to break the stereotype of how people perceive women of a certain age as old ladies. There's still plenty of advertising out there with images of hunched up old grannies. Here's a case in point. So here's what's funny. I'm a voiceover actor and I still can't play an old lady because my voice still sounds like a kid. So as a blogger and a YouTuber, brands constantly ask me to promote commode chairs, toilet rails, and games for people with dementia. I'm not saying that those things aren't important for older people, but a lot of us are still active and kicking, some of us well into our 90s. So right now, I'm 70 years old. I never thought of myself as old when I was 50 or 60, but when I had my 70th birthday, it hit me. Does that mean it's downhill from here? I think about how old my mother and her friends were in their 70s. They seemed so much older than I feel now. Of course, my kids probably think I'm old, but that's the way it is. But life has changed a lot since then. Today, many people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s are still in good shape. I mean, look at Mick Jagger. He's 81 and still bouncing around on stage, right? In this video, I want to talk about what makes others see us as old ladies and how we can change their minds a bit. But before I start, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell to be notified when I publish more videos. Thanks. I'm going to be more consistent because ChatGPT yelled at me the other day when I asked it to review my channel. It said, make more videos and stick to a schedule. So I'm going to do the best I can, but I run 2 blogs, 2 YouTube channels, various social media sites, and I'm a voice actor. But who said little old ladies can't multitask, right? So here are a few reasons people may see you as old. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is posture. Are you sort of hunched over when you walk? I've noticed that a lot in older people. It happens because our bones just get more fragile as we age. I was once 5'3" and now I'm 5'2". So I shrank. Has that happened to you? Your mother was right when she told you to stand and sit straight. I like to imagine a string attached to the top of my head holding my body straight. It actually keeps you standing straight, and it's something that I learned in an acting class. Or you could try walking with a book on your head like girls used to do in the old days, right? The last thing you want to do is end up like a hunchback. I had a great aunt and a second cousin who had curvature of the spine, and it really made life difficult for them. I met a 90-year-old man in the 80s named Stanislav Shukalski, and he was an amazing artist and sculptor. In fact, I appeared for a few seconds in a Netflix documentary about him called Struggle that was produced by Leonardo and George DiCaprio, which was pretty cool. But anyway, he was this very eccentric guy, but he preached about how important it was to stand up straight. And he stood up straight as a rail and had boundless energy. It's pretty amazing. He was also horny as hell, but that's another story. So anyway, I would say just be aware of your posture, catch yourself when you're hunching over. It's so easy to do. And especially when you're sitting for a long time at a computer, which I do, you're just naturally kind of hunched over. So you need to do certain kinds of exercises to keep your body straight because it affects your overall health. So the next thing that makes you appear like a little old lady is being sedentary. You've got to move it or lose it, but don't think you have to hurt yourself doing it, right? You may have seen some senior women on Instagram doing complex yoga moves, chin-ups, or even running marathons. It's pretty impressive, but it can be pretty intimidating too. At one point in my 30s, I could stand on my head 10 different ways, but I'm not going to attempt to do that now because I don't want to take any chances that could result in disaster. You know what I mean? Let's be real. And I know that there are many people out there who have physical limitations that make it difficult for them to move at all. So hopefully some of these ideas can help anyone stay in motion. I believe the more you move, the longer you can move. Even a quick walk around the block can help. You can also park your car further away from the grocery store than normal, or take the stairs instead of the elevator. Just make sure to hang on to the rails. You don't want to end up being buried in someone's golf course, right? If walking is even a little bit challenging, try making your way across a room several times. I like to do movement exercises that are fun and not torturous, like dancing. Some people love swimming or Tai Chi. Whatever gives you joy is good. The idea of working out in a gym with a coach drilling me to do squats and lunges makes me want to cringe. How about you? My apologies to any fitness coaches watching this video. You also don't want to overdo exercising and hurt yourself. Going overboard with exercises causes stress and makes your cortisol soar. In case you didn't know, cortisol is a hormone that gives you belly fat, and I have plenty of that. I kind of look like I'm 7 months pregnant, but I'm working on it. Now, stretching is super important at any age to maintain flexibility. It also feels good. Above all, don't sit for too long. Take breaks and get up frequently to move around and stretch. All of these things will help you avoid painful arthritis, and no one wants to get that, right? So what about balance? The last thing we as older women want to do is fall. One slip could change your life, and not for the better. I've tripped over my dogs a few times, but luckily just got a few bruises. A sprain takes way longer to recover from for us than for a younger person. Balance exercises are probably the most important exercises you can do as an older adult. You can find some good ones online. I'll leave a link to a video my roommates and I love to do in the description below. If you're kind of shaky, you can always hold on to the wall until you get better at it. If you want to do a challenge, do balance exercises with your hands by your sides. It's much harder. The next time you need to change a light bulb, you'll have a better chance of surviving. But better yet, maybe get a teenager to do it. So we're all supposed to strength train, right? Do you hate lifting weights? I know I kind of do. And I admit I don't do it very consistently. Well, hardly ever. I know I should. But there are other ways you can strengthen your body without weights. For instance, standing up from a chair and sitting down is a functional resistance exercise. Did you ever see that scene in Grace and Frankie when Jane Fonda couldn't get up from the toilet? That caused the two ladies to invent a toilet that would lift them up off the pot. You don't want that to have to happen to you if you can help it. So there's several exercises you can do using your own body weight, like squats, wall push-ups, housework, gardening. Remember that most of those 100-year-olds in the blue zones have never seen a gym. Strength training is super important though, because it helps you to avoid osteoporosis, which is something that a lot of women develop as they get older. So you want to keep those bones strong and do some sort of resistance training, but do it in a way that you enjoy because it just makes it easier to do. Sleep is what keeps you looking and feeling young. I'm sure you know that postmenopausal women tend to have erratic sleep patterns, right? Do you ever get up several times at night and pee and then you can't get back to sleep? Well, some people I know believe that they can't sleep without sleeping pills, but that kind of addiction is bad in so many ways, so don't get on that train if you can avoid it. Other solutions that may help are blackout blinds, no TV in your bedroom, it's bad feng shui. Turn off your electronics at least 1 hour before you go to bed. Sleep in separate bedrooms if your partner snores. Maybe don't sleep with your Great Dane in bed. Set a regular sleep schedule. That's really important. Don't drink or eat right before you go to bed. You could use maybe like a play toy in bed, and you know what I mean? To reduce stress, because after all, we're not dead yet. So those are just a few ideas, and the more natural ways that you can do it, the better. But just make sure that you get plenty of sleep because it's just so important for everything, your balance, just your whole well-being. It's just probably the most important thing there is. So overindulgences can pay a toll and really make you look old. Addictions can seriously damage your mind and body. That includes drinking too much alcohol, taking drugs, or other weird obsessions. People usually become addicted to something if they've experienced some kind of deep trauma or it's part of their family history. But the only person who can cure an addict is the addict. So if you're an addict, you must deal with your emotional issues by going to a therapist or AA or Al-Anon or whatever will work for you. And the best thing to do if you live with an addict is to focus on your own happiness. I lived with an addict, so I know it isn't pretty and it was super, super stressful. Obsessing about your weight can age you. They say it's normal for postmenopausal women to put on weight. Well, that's what they say. Some of us just love food. We may not be happy about it, but diets, fads, and pills can make you feel older instead of younger. I'm definitely heavier than I want to be, but I eat well and exercise. I know that a lot of my weight is the result of cortisol that's added to my belly fat because of stress. Too much exercise and following crazy diets can add to that stress. Also, setting a goal to be super skinny is not always a good thing. Women who are too skinny have more of a chance of having osteoporosis or eating disorders. Then again, gaining too much weight is dangerous for the heart and pretty much all your organs. The trouble is most diet fads or cutting out food groups doesn't work in the long term. And Ozempic may help you with diabetes, but it doesn't solve the deeper issues that cause you to gain weight in the first place. Maintaining good health is a much better goal than reaching your ideal weight. I know I live to eat rather than eat to live, which isn't ideal, but I'm working on it by doing portion control. But so far, I don't take meds or supplements, and I'm doing pretty well health-wise, so that's good. So knock on wood, I hope it stays that way. The best way to stay healthy is to eat wholesome, real food in reasonable quantities. Stay away from processed food, artificial flavors and sweeteners, fast foods, and too much sugar. If it comes out of a box, be suspicious. Have you ever seen how Coke or 7-Up can clean a car battery? You don't want that stuff in your stomach, even if it says it's diet. Drink mostly water. It's the best cleanse on the planet, and coffee and tea are fine too. And a little wine once in a while doesn't hurt. More old ladies and men end up in the hospital because they're dehydrated. I know that happened to me. And most centenarians don't diet. They eat what they want, but in moderation. If you do all those things, you'll stay healthier and probably live longer. Take super good care of your feet. Your feet and hands have tons of nerve endings in them, and that's why reflexologists can make you feel better by simply manipulating your feet and hands. Each nerve is attached to different parts of your body. The way that you treat your feet can affect your overall health. So always wear well-fitted and sturdy shoes that won't make you trip. They don't have to be ugly granny shoes. Did you know that one of the most dangerous shoes for adults is thongs, which I wear all the time around the house? Orthotics are good to wear in your shoes as our feet get weaker as we age. And of course, you want to take care of your toenails to avoid problems like toenail fungus. It's important because the medication you need to get rid of it is bad for your liver. If you get pedicures, make sure it's just in a sanitary place. My mom's toenails got so bad she had to go to a podiatrist just to clip them. Feet that are sore or achy or have weird things sticking out of them will affect your whole body. Your posture will get messed up, you'll feel bad all over, and above all, you'll look old. Avoid stress and toxic individuals. Too much stress can turn you into an old lady fast. Don't tolerate negativity. Say goodbye to toxic people who raise your blood pressure. Practice self-care, get a massage, meditate, go for walks. Cop a positive attitude. There's a ton of negativity going around these days, which means that some older people get cranky or cynical. Are you sitting at home waiting to die? Stop that and smell the roses instead. Get an attitude adjustment by finding things that bring you joy and gratitude. It may sound kind of airy-fairy, but practicing kindness will come back to you in spades. Laugh as often as possible. There are so many comedians who lived to ripe old ages because they had a good sense of humor. George Burns, Phyllis Diller, Carl Reiner, Carol Burnett, Betty White, Dick Van Dyke, Bob Newhart, Sid Caesar, Milton Berle, Bob Hope, Mel Brooks, Don Rickles, Rose Marie, Jerry Stiller, and a whole lot more. In other words, laugh more. Stay connected. Growing older can get lonely, especially if a spouse or friends pass away, which happens more and more as we age. I've had 2 men I lived with that died of cancer. I've also moved 28 times in my life. I have 2 wonderful kids, but they don't live close enough to see them all the time. So sometimes I go to events alone, but I don't really mind because I just love getting out and meeting people. I've met people to connect with by going to meetup groups. You can also find friends by joining groups that share the same interests as you, and then get to know your neighbors. I know that's kind of hard to do in Los Angeles because no one knows their neighbors, but even a friendly hello when you go for a stroll can make a difference. Having connections with others and supportive friends is the key to not becoming a grumbly old lady. So in this video, I talked about how we can be perceived as old ladies on the inside in the way we feel or take care of our physical and mental states. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to look younger on the outside by how you dress, take care of your skin, and more. So stay tuned. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave comments. I want to know what else you think makes women appear to be old ladies. Click the notification bell and like this video. I'll see you in part 2 coming soon.